All right. Hello, everyone. So if I say hello, KT, say what's up, sasa. Hello, KT. Hey, KT. Nafaa shout. Hey, KT. What's up? Hey. So I've talked to some of you guys over the break. I was asking how it was. I hope kila mtu ameelewa. Most people have given very positive feedback. Mmesema umeelewa. The lady for the camera, is this thing gonna be connected? Mmesema a lot of you have understood, right? So a good number of you hamjawai hata tumia ChatGPT. Can you imagine? And then there was also another percentage who have never learned how to write prompts. Like kutoka once the ChatGPT, you just telling it ifanyie assignment, sindio? So I hope you guys have been able to understand. Nobody has complained that I was going fast. Is there anybody who thought I was going too fast? Anyone? Need slow down? Yeah. Nobody. And then some people have told me they want deeper things. They want deeper things. But now, if you've never even used ChatGPT, how can I go deeper? Sindio, like itakuwa ngumu. A lot of people will float. Laugh, it will be. It won't make sense for me to go deeper. So let me just try to go a bit faster so that I can go at least into some tools. Because I think we have just an hour. Because I know from 2 p.m. we end up breakout session. So, time. So I normally tell my students of something called the 20-60-20 rule, which is a very unique feature, especially for students. So when it comes to using AI, 20% of your time should be on writing the right prompt. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I hope you have, that prompt engineering is the most important thing you're going to have to do when it comes to using AI. So you have to write the good prompt. You need to spend 20% of your time writing a good prompt. Your prompt will determine your output. If your output is off, where your prompt was off. Sasa, ikiwa, can I get a louder mic? I feel like this is not that loud. Is there a better mic than this? Because I have to do this. Change your mic tafadhali. So you have to sit down and write a good prompt. And a prompt is not 5 sentences. It could be up to 10 pages long. There was this time I was with an engineer from Safaricom. Can you imagine he had a prompt which was around 104 pages long? 104 pages. Yeah. But that's how now kuna mtu ameuliza ati how does someone actually make money from AI? It's because that's how deep you have to get into when it comes to using AI and prompting it. That's why I told you need to stop limiting it. Usiambie tu 5 sentences alafu unafikiri itakuwa sawa. Sasa like learn to ask it things of the deep. I don't know ikiwa umesoma hiyo pacha Bible ya ask stuff from the deep. Anyway, and then after you've written the prompt, let the AI do most of the work, 60% of the work. Sasa, so the AI will do it. If let's say it's supposed to give you some reports, itakufanyia, ama inafaa kufanya research, itakufanyia. And then finally, you need to ensure that everything is accurate. Remember, we talked about limitations of AI. Sindio? And I told you about how AI has a lot of hallucinations and makes a lot of mistakes. Cool? So, you have to ensure that everything here is sharpened. And what I mean by sharpened is that everything yours belongs to you. Because academia or going to school has the pillar of ownership. Everything in your paper, everything in your exam should be coming from you. Sawa? You should be the one who's written everything in your paper. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini should not be the ones who are listed in the paper. Because remember, again, AI makes a lot of mistakes. And AI cannot think. Sindio? So imagine if you've used AI in your writing or in your paper, but it cannot even think. Alafu mwalimu anakuuliza, where did you get this information from? Do you think you're going to say, oh, ni ChatGPT imenipea? Alafu lecturer tu ako sawa? No. Remember, AI cannot think. AI does not really understand what it's telling you. So you need to ensure that the 20% of the time is you fixing the prompt, fixing the output, ensuring that the output is accurate, ensuring that what it has given you, you have double checked. You have ensured that it is the right thing. Ama umetoa citation pahali, it is the right citation and stuff like that. So always do that so that you can get the best responses. I think I'll go just a bit faster. So let's talk about the best case practices of using AI. So the first thing is choosing the best tool. And we're going to get that in a few, but not all tools are the same. Sasa, maybe someone can give me like, what's the difference between ChatGPT and Claude and Kimi and QuenChat and Grok? What is the difference? Give me some. It could be guesswork too. Differences of these models. What is the difference between all these AI tools?
No, cloud is used by tech student for coding.
So ideally, I'm saying my use cases. Anybody else? A difference between these AI tools. What is the difference between ChatGPT and Grok and Gemini and whichever one that you want to pick? Tofauti ni gani? Tofauti ni gani? It's not complicated. Well, they're from different companies. Let's start with that, right? It's like how all of you are students, but you're from different universities. So these are all AI models, but they're from different companies. And the second is they have different training because they're from different companies, right? The third is that they have different functionalities. Again, that's what she was talking about. So some can be used for different things, and others can't be used for the same thing, yeah? And then others are used for thinking and so much more. So when it comes to using AI, you need to choose the best tool. And something else that makes these AI tools different is something called a token context window. So think about token context window as the human brain. The same way, there are people who can, let me say, retain more information that's compared to others. So think about it. I don't know which schools you guys were in, but I remember in our school, to anaitwa Ronnie Mugambi. Ronnie never used to read. This dude alikuwa ametoka Alliance, akakuja shule yetu because of something, but this dude never used to read. Alikuwa anakaa hivi, anaangalia hivi mwalimu na anaelewa. I remember when I was in Mangu, there's another guy called Fahad. Alikuwa anakaa tu hivi. Like during camp analala. Like anasikiza tu body. Oh, okay, so like basically the way like Gen Zs and young people like typing and na vunja ma words, that's the same exact way AI does it. So whenever you go and write it in something, it breaks down your words into something it can understand. Because computers talk in numbers and zeros and ones, unaona? So haielewi English, haielewi Kikuyu. So you can go talk to it in your language, but it will break it down. I don't know if you guys want to see how it looks like. Do you want to see? Do you want to see what AI sees when you write something? Yes, no? So you go to a place called tokenizer.openai.ke. So kama hapa. So these are people who are doing tech stuff. Unaweza kuja hapa, you write your prompt so that you can see how the computer understands you. So kama hapa, I pasted ile prompt yetu. So you can see that it says that our prompt had 166 tokens and 727 characters. So each time you use ChatGPT sasa, when you put this prompt, it takes 166 tokens for you to understand. So this is what I mean by token context window. So kika kitu inachukua tokens, when it responds, inachukua tokens. So you have a limit, and that's why again, unaambiwangwa that, oh, we can't continue with this prompt after 4 hours because unakuanga na kitu inaitwa a token budget. Okay, so I know a good number of you guys mkona, you're on the free version. Anybody ashailipia ChatGPT? Anyone? Ama Grok? Ama Gemini? I know Gemini walikuwa napeana for free last year. Any person who got that? Okay, no one. But a lot of you have something called a budget. Okay, so at any one point mkona a specific number of tokens you can use. So when it comes to using AI, you need to understand these things for token context window, because you don't want to be in a situation whereby you have a presentation and you want to make a presentation but tokens zako za presentation zimeisha. Alafu imagine sasa huko umefanya kazi yako, alafu tena unahitajika kupresent kitu like in front of a panel or something. Like that thing is normally very embarrassing. So when it comes to using AI, you need to understand that you have tokens and you are limited. You don't have unlimited usage. Sawa? You can only do as much as needed. So the first best practice is choosing the best tool. Again, inside of these tools, there's something called models. Sawa? So the different models, again, zimekuwa fine-tuned to do specific things. So for example, I don't know if like the free version of ChatGPT nakuanga nayo, but on the paid version hivi nyo nakaanga. Ukiangalia hapa kando, unaona hapa imeandikwa instant, si ndio? So instant alafu nikifinya imeandikwa medium, high. So this is intelligence. So if you have a hard concept like mathematics, the people who are doing mathematics, you cannot, and it's a very complicated concept, you cannot bring the instant one to answer your question. You have to take it to the high one, the high intelligence one. Why? Because the first one will not be able to solve the problem. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you kuna kitu complex. Wataka kuambia ChatGPT ama Gemini, but ukiambia ina hallucinate. No. So this is what I mean by models. So this is how much intelligence it uses. The higher you put, the more tokens it earns. So ukiweka high kila wakati na unaiuliza what do you want to eat for lunch, utapata inakwambia kwamba your tokens have ended before you even use it for something important. So when it comes to using AI also, figure out, is your task hard or easy? If it's easy, tumia instant. If it's hard, ndio unaenda mbele. If it's something really complex, you put it kwa high. And again, ukiangalia hapa imeandikwa GPT 5.5, these are the other models of ChatGPT. So this was O3. O3 is what we used to use it last year. tukienda 5.3, 5.4, 2026 tuko 5.5. Unaona? So this is what I mean by models. This is how it looks like on ChatGPT. If you go to Claude, yeah, ukikuja Claude, again, I know you can't like change when you're on the free version, but even in the Kanga. So they have 3 models, right? This is Fable 5. Fable 5 ilitokea last week. So this is the most recent one. It's probably the most powerful, but honestly, it's JPenda. Like, but people are like, wow, it's building nice websites. Anyway, so this Opus. Opus was the highest before. Opus 4.8. Nakumbuka nikiambia kuhusu token context window. Do you guys remember? So these ones have a token context window of up to 1 million tokens. What that means is that it can read the Bible around 346 times. So that means unaweza ingiza hapo ma PDF na itaweza kuelewa. But ukienda kwa ile smaller one, ukiweka PDF moja, kwamba man, I can't understand another document. Can you just start a new conversation? So this is what I mean by different models. So this one of course takes the most energy. Hadi nakwambia. Again also energy. So this is the one which is most efficient. So on the free version I think mnakuanga na access to this and this. This is for fast answers. If you're trying to figure out what is 2 plus 2, tumia hii. Sawa. And again hapa chini kuna effort. So you can choose. Do you want it to use medium effort, hard effort, high effort? So something that is complex nafaa kutumia hard. Sawa. And again ukiangalia hapa kuna kitu imeandikwa thinking. So if something is complex and that means it has several steps, you turn on thinking. Sawa. If it's something simple, don't turn it on. And thinking pia inakuonyesha the way that model got to an answer, because you don't want a situation whereby inakujibia kila kitu. So when you turn on this, inakuonyesha I first started with this, then went to this, then went to this, then went to this. So this is what I mean by different models. If you have to go to Gemini, you will see again the same thing. Ukiangalia imeenda wapi? Ndio hiyo. Ukiangalia hapa tena imeandikwa thinking flash pro. So the model is Gemini 3.5 flash. So this one is for fast things. Like again, what is the distance between Nairobi and Mombasa? Thinking now is you're trying to figure out the way thermodynamics affects the human body or something, yeah? Then 3.1 pro is umepewa a formula na mwalimu anakuambia jibu hii swali, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that thing is so complicated. You use 3.1 pro. Sawa. Again, if you look at things like DeepSeek, utazipata tu. If you go to Quenchat, utapata the same thing. So pick different models. Understand how hard is your task and pick the best one to answer. So that's one of the best ways of using AI. Pick the best model na itakurespondia vizuri. Sawa. Cool. Shasahau. Cool. Like a pool. Cool. All right, so choose the best tool, and inside the best tool, choose the best model. Second thing is give examples and expected outcomes. Remember AI imetrainiwa on data of billions and billions of parameters. What this means is that it can easily hallucinate. So if you want it to give you the best response, you need to give it an example of how a good response looks like. Okay. So for example, if you want to write for you an assignment, or I remember in uni we were supposed to write like a thesis or something, and you don't understand how a thesis should be written, enda uchukue thesis ambayo umeipata. When you've gotten the thesis, what you do is that you copy paste the thesis there, ama you upload it, so that it can understand, oh, this is how a thesis should look like. You get? So if let's say you want it to write for you an email or a letter or a blog post, don't just let the model uiambie write for me a blog. No. Go get a blog that you like, copy paste the blog or upload the blog there. Uiambie, based on the style of writing of this person, write for me a blog that communicates XYZ. Unaona? Because you do not want to be in a situation whereby umepewa assignment na mwalimu, alafu everyone's assignment looks the same. Remember there's this American professor who did that. Alikuwa amepewa assignment, alafu literally the first sentence of almost everyone's line ilianza the same exact way. Imagine. But it's because they should have maybe provided something different, a different outcome. Ili your model ijue, okay, because I remember when I was in school, I used to I don't say cheat, but I used to use AI a lot for assignments. So I used to tell it, I don't want you to give me the first answer you could give. I want you to think, go round and round so that no one can ever tell it's you. So everybody else in the class used to have the same exact answers, but mine were different. But it's because go round and round. Unaona? But everybody just goes there, answer this question for me. alafu everybody just gets the same thing, alafu mwalimu anaangalia hivi anaona tu the same information from everyone. Sasa, so tell it to be different, tell it to switch it up. So give it an example, but now don't give it too many examples. But I feel like I'm confused. But don't give it too many examples, because if let's okay, don't give it too many examples. Basically, give it maximum of 3. Sasa, give it a maximum of 3, a minimum of 2. Ili elewe what you want. Then finally, is not finally, but tell it to actually ask you questions. So at times you're not sure if the context that you gave was enough. But ukiambia niulize maswali, kama vile alikuwa na hiyo swali ya vectors 3 ama ilikuwa nini? Calculus. Yeah, calculus 3. Instead of him just saying, give me, okay, what was the prompt? So let me just go back to chat. So this was his prompt. I'm an undergraduate, nini. So ukuja hapa, new chat, ni post, nisemee, ask me questions first. Ask me questions to elewa where I am at and what I know. Sasa, so naiambia niulize maswali. Usijibu before niulize maswali. So this is also one of the ways that you can get better responses from an AI model. Because if you can let it ask you questions, naona kama vile unaenda kwa daktari anakuuliza maswali, it's gonna respond much better. So yambie niulize maswali, kama hapa inaanza kuuliza maswali kama what have you covered, right? So now hapo unajibu unasema we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. So the model now when it comes to responding, it responds better. Unaona, because now it has more context, because the questions give it context. Again, I'm more questions. Cool. So let it ask you questions. That that's the one thing, by the way, that changed how much I used AI, because hey, it became so good. And finally, somebody had even come and asked me about this from engineering. So since I know a lot of you and even a lot of Kenyans kuandika Kiingereza ni ngumu, I know some of you mnaweza shindwa to know what to tell the model, right? So what you need to do is tell the model to act as a prompt engineer and write it better for you. So a prompt engineer is someone whose work is to write prompts. Okay? So there's a lady here who came and talked about Prompt Genie. I will advise you not to use prompt generators like Prompt Genie, because they assume you want something. If you want to write a better prompt na haujui, utakuja hapa tu kwa ChatGPT. Sasa, you paste your prompt and tell it, I want you to act as a prompt engineer, and improve my prompt. Sasa, so you tell it, mimi sijui kile nafaa kuuliza. So I don't know what I'm supposed to ask you. How about you ask yourself that question? Sasa, so angalia, what we had written before was, I am an undergraduate second year student for JQuat, studying Bachelor of Science in General Science, assignment, Calculus 3. Can you explain how it's applied in the field of electromagnetics? Now look at what chat has written. Okay, I need someone to come and read it for me. It's so long. Mtu mmoja volunteer kuja some tu. It's just reading. Come. So you can try skimming. Si lazima usome word for word. The prompt here, but skim too.
Okay, I'm a second year undergraduate student at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, pursuing a Bachelor of Science in General Science. I've been given an assignment in Calculus 3 on the application of multivariable calculus in electromagnetism. Act as an experienced university lecturer in Calculus 3 and electromagnetism. Before explaining, ask me a few questions to determine my current understanding on the following topics. Once you understand my level, explain the concepts using language suitable for a second year undergraduate student.
A list of what it would like to do. Again, finally,
Assume I'm learning this topic for the first time, but I'm willing to learn the mathematics thoroughly. Do not skip steps or assume prior knowledge beyond introductory calculus 1 and 2.
Perfect. So compare the first prompt to the second one. Which one is better? Which one is better? First Second, yeah, unaona. So even you yourself, you will have gotten better results from this one as compared to the first one. But I also want you to see that what I'm teaching you is correct. Unajua, it's so nice. Nilifunza prompt engineering, I told you the first is craft. Context, there's enough context. Ndio? Ndio ikasema what topics amesoma. Second is role. Amepena role. Even ChatGPT knows how to write a prompt. Amepena role. Sindio? Then the other one is action. Nikamwambia action, mnafaa kuweka even step by step. Ndio hizo hapo step by step, yeah? Alafu nikasema also format, how should you nini? Ikasema assume I'm learning for the first time. Na pia alikuwa amesema speak in simple language that a second year can understand. You see what I'm teaching you is what even ChatGPT does as a prompt engineer. So hiyo ambayo nimefunza, by the way, that thing can literally shift how AI works for you. Sasa prompt engineering is very important. So in case you find yourself hujui what to explain to the model, andika kitu iambie act as a prompt engineer and improve this. But in case you want to use things like prompt genie and then imtumia, but I promise you it will start hallucinating somewhere, and just better to tell the model itself to ask itself the question. So now kazi yako sasa ni copy paste hii, you come to chat, you paste it, and now you're going to get better responses. And again, remember, this sounds like a very hard thing. So hapa ningeka a thinking mode instead of instant, right? Because this sounds a bit more complicated. Am I say complicated? Is it complicated? It's not. So maybe in Getugia, a smaller model could have responded that better. But ungeka thinking, ama hard, ungepata even the response is much more improved. So those are the best case practices of using AI. I wanna hapa acha skip here because I want us to go through some models. Sasa, I think is it possible if I sit down? Is it okay if I sit? All right. Okay. Let me not sit. Let me just stand. So I know you have some people nauliza about what they would like me to talk about in the second session. We don't have that much time, but actually 20 minutes. But let me try to talk about certain things. So the first thing nauliza is how do people actually make things like websites with AI? So nakumbuka nikiwaambia kwamba the difference between these AI tools is functionality. Yeah. If anybody has ever used AI or ChatGPT to code, they will note that ChatGPT is not that good at coding. True or false? True, eh? So what that means is that, so what ChatGPT decided to do is that they created something called a coding agent. Sawa. So a coding agent is a specific AI model made specific for coding. And for ChatGPT inaitangwa codex. Sawa. So if you want to build, for example, a product inside of ChatGPT, you use something called codex. Cool? Cool? Ama that's not cool. Hapo umepotea, si ndio? So think about it this way. ChatGPT has been made to write text. It's a multi-purpose tool. So kiambia ikuandikie code, ama kujengea website, of course inajua, but it's very basic. Si ndio? So what they decided to do is create another one that is made specific for building products and writing code. So it's called a coding agent. So for ChatGPT inaitwa codex. Sawa? Hapo umeelewa hivyo? So now this, if you want to build a product, build something, you use codex. Sawa? And I know hapa sasa, okay, I won't go deep into this because it was not in the but now when it comes to things like schoolwork, okay, maybe I should also say this in ChatGPT, is that you can come and create a project. Cool? And that project is basically a folder. So you know what a folder is in a computer? Who doesn't know a folder? Explain a folder. A folder is where like a lot of different things are found. I don't know. Like when there's like a picture and everything inside. So the way it works is that you come. So for example, let me open a folder. You come here and just click on new folder and say this is for schoolwork. Ama if let's say now it's for coding, you come and write coding. So come up and andike schoolwork. Okay, well, it looks so tiny on my computer. So hapa ningekuja niite schoolwork. Schoolwork. Hivo. So, and then now I come to codex. Where was the codex? Codex ndo hii hapa. Ndo hii. And then now I come and open a project in that document. Sasa. So kama hapa nakuja ninafinya hii new project. Alafu ninasema use an existing folder. And then I pick that folder ambayo inajiita schoolwork. Naona. So now imagine now this is coding. Like let's say hapo sasa ni ya code ama ni kutengeneza project ama website. You click on open. So now you come and tell it, right, to do something inside of that folder. So for example, let me say words? Anyone? About how by coding AI can be used in academics. So now this is not just about making presentations, but now imagine ama ingekuwa like so you come and tell it make for me a website that can do unaona. So what lakini hapa nimefanya kimakosa kiasi, nimeipa kitu inaitwa computer use, which is basically access to my computer. So itaanza kufungua my computer utaona let's see if it will do it, but I should not have done that. Yeah, but basically what you can do is that you can create a folder iweze kufanya kazi ndani ya folder. Sasa so kama hapo ungeambia make for me a website, ingeingia ndani ya folder itengeneze websites and web pages inside the folder. So cool, like a pool, si ndio? So if you can understand that, it will be easier, but itengia hapo ndani ya folder itengeneze some documents. If it has to make a HTML document itengeneza, a Word document itengeneza, and that's the first part. So now ChatGPT iko na codex, Gemini iko na yake inaitwa anti-gravity, Claude iko na yake inaitwa Claude Code, kuna ingine inaitwa VS Code, kuna kadhaa basically. Sasa so that was the first question kwa nimeulizwa, how do they do it? Kwa nilikuwa nimeuliza kuhusu hosting of websites, I don't want to talk about that because it's going to be long, but that's the first part. And now nimekumbuka now when I was talking about this is that I should have shown you also some stuff you can do on ChatGPT. I don't know why I got here faster. Ni vile watu realize that's what everybody was asking about. But remember again, the topic was how you guys can use AI in education. So let's look at practical use cases for you guys that you can use Chat and Claude for schoolwork. So the first step is that on your left of your ChatGPT, you can see several things. Sindio? So hapa imeandikwa new chat library scheduled ni nini. I don't know if on the free version it looks the same, but I would assume it does. Sindio? Yeah? So hapa chini, okay, these are my pinned posts. These are the things that I like remembering. So let me funga hiyo kitu. Msione. But sasa tufike hapa kwa projects. Sawa? So projects are basically folders you've made on side of ChatGPT ama of Claude. Cool? Cool? Ama not like a pool. Okay. So basically naona vile hapa ninauliza maswali mengi sana. Hapa chini, charts. Hapa nimeuliza about calculus, hapa improve prompt, side hustle, improve AI prompt, tena Kenyan image request, greeting, presentation, Nova Pioneer, add ideas, Messi Ronaldo, t-shirt design, poster, effective ad. You see like how everything is all over the place. Sindio? So if you want to arrange your work, you come and create a project. Unaona? So inside of that project is now where you come and work. So kama nyinyi, let's say you have a unit called Calculus 3, you come and create a project unaita Calculus 3. So if let's say it's a unit on, I don't know, the human body, if you're doing med, unaandika Calculus 3. So now everything you do on your Calculus 3 unit unakuja unaifanyia hapa. Sasa. So this project now is going to be only about the prompts on Calculus 3. So that now you can have Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. Because utaki kuwa in a situation whereby you keep on losing prompts. Unajaribu kukumbuka, where did I put this from? Nilikuwa nimesoma hiki kitu juzi. Because you're trying to save on prompts on Talk and Spear. So you create a folder or a project and you put all your conversations inside. Cool? Cool? Sasa inside this project also, you can create something called system settings. Sasa, so ukikuja hapa juu finye hii, you can create project settings and then you explain to it your unit. Guys, look up. Hapa mbele. So here, you can create instructions for this specific project. So for example, again, in Calculus 3, right? So hapo unaandika, so you can tell chat, I think mlikuwa mmeshafanya hivi ile siku mlikuja Hack House. What is this? Codex. So kumbuka tulikuwa tumeiambia itutengeneza presentation. It has made the presentation. You remember? Do you guys remember? Angalia imemaliza na ikatuonyesha. And it's entering my, okay, someone is calling me. Ningechukua nimuonyeshe. But you see Codex is done. You boss. You see imemaliza presentation yangu. And remember I told you it was working inside of the folder. Ukifungua hiyo folder, utaona imeweka hiyo folder hapo ndani. Naona? Outputs. So if I click on these outputs, then it made it. The presentation was made inside of the folder. Now this is what a coding agent does. You give it a task inafanya ndani folder. Cool? So it's just think about it outside of presentations. Let's say this was a website, tuningeiambia tu. Make for me a website about this. Itafungua folder, na hiyo folder ikutengeneze, ikuonyeshe. Sasa. So this is one of the ways that people use ChatGPT in a higher way. Somebody had asked, so you talk about deeper things, but naona presentation yangu yote it's done. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Because in universities unaambianga mtengeneza presentation. Si ndio? So imagine mnaingia hapo tu unaiambia make for me this presentation. Inakufanyia kila kitu. Eh? Who? Could make presentation. You can. Okay, we're going to talk about detection in a few. Okay, let's come back here. So I think you've done this at Hack House, but again, in case you've never done it, unaambia ChatGPT, I want to create a project inside of ChatGPT for my unit, calculus. These are the course outline. So naiambia ikupe instructions so that each time you come, it understands that you are doing a university, you are a university student doing mathematics and computer science, and this is for calculus 3. So it's supposed to be helping you for calculus 3. So when you give it those instructions, you don't have to be coming back and telling it, I am a student who does calculus 3, I'm a science. And then also you can add something called a knowledge base. Najua hapa sasa naanza kuwapoteza, but for those who are sharp, ukiangalia kwa sources, you can add something called a knowledge base. A knowledge base is basically documents that can help it understand your context. Because you don't want to be reminding it about your school life or where you've reached in your school project. So you can just add documents here that itakuwa ikitoa information from for it to answer your questions. Cool? Like a pool, sindio? If it's not like a pool, you tell me. So you add your documents here. You can add them from Google Drive, from your computer. Unazi add up so that anytime you come in and ask a question, inatoa information from there. I think there's someone who had asked that question up huko nyuma. Okay, so I've shown you projects. What else can I show you? Again, for schoolwork, there's something else called deep research that you guys, I don't know if anybody has ever used this. So if you come to use ChatGPT, you of course utapata the first things that come from the internet. If you're supposed to be doing a research project in school and you've been told to use chat, or you've been told to find something, instead of using the normal ChatGPT, jaribu kutumia deep search. Sawa? So deep search is going to do and scour the entire internet. And it's going to give you a PhD level report. So let's say you are going to do a certain unit. Unaweza ingiza hapo course outline useme, I'm going to my 3rd year of university and I do my course in mathematics and computer science. I like mathematics. Hey, math is fun. Guys, math is fun. So, I'm doing my course in mathematics and computer science. And this is a unit that I'm going to be doing in my 3rd year. I want you to give me a detailed report about what you think we should be learning as learning outcomes based on the course outline. I don't know how many students will do this because I feel like this is a lot of work on you, but if you're the kind of student who anataka kusoma, iambie hivyo. Sasa itakupea a detailed report, a PhD level report. It will search the internet over 400, 500 websites ili ikupea report. So in case umeambia tena na mwalimu unafaa kufanya research project, kuja hapa kwanza ufanye deep research for you to understand what is in that project. Sasa ili usianze kufanya research hivi. But also let me talk about this. So these are called artifacts that can make the model respond better. I think you guys know about creating images, but up at the web search, you remember I told you that AI is expensive, yeah? And AI is normally trained. So this training is called pre-training. It's quite expensive and it can't be done often. So they normally do it like once a year or once every 2 years. So that means, for example, if the last time ChatGPT was trained was January 2026, it does not have any information past January 2026. Unaona? So what that means is that you have to tell it to search the internet in the prompt. Otherwise, it will pay information that was kitambo. But if you don't want to tell it in the prompt, just come and click on web search. It will search the internet. So if you want something that happened yesterday in the World Cup, finger web search for it to search. And then also some other things. Haraka, what time is it? Oh, I hope time is there. But let me show you some cool stuff. Now, this is not just for ChatGPT, by the way. If you get all models, but there is also a way you can connect your AI models to different applications. Somebody else had asked about this, like how is that possible? It's because you can connect it to different apps. So for example, up you can see, okay, I don't know if these are useful to you guys. Actually, in Claude. Claude is normally has more apps to connect to. But basically, you can connect your Claude, your ChatGPT, or even Gemini to different applications that you have. Nani ameshaitumia Canva hapa? Anyone? Just raise your hand. Canva? Yeah, I can see some people. Canva. Photoshop? Anyone? Anyone has ever used Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Excel Sheets, Microsoft Word? Hey, guys, crazy. So ukikuja hapa kwa capabilities, yeah? No, not capability, hapa kwa connectors. You're going to see different places where you can connect your Claude or your ChatGPT to. Sasa. So for example, if you wanted to write for you an email in Gmail, you connect it to Gmail. So utakuwa kuingia Claude unaiambia, write for me this email to someone, email and send this email. Sasa, inene natuma. If you guys don't know Canva is for making presentations and designs. So you can come to Claude, iambie, go to my Canva and make for me a poster that does inaingia Canva na kutengenezea, unaenda Canva unaipata. Sawa? If let's say you have to write a document or a report or an assignment, you tell it, you've connected it to Google Docs, you tell it, go to Google Docs and put for me this report or write for me this information. Itenge kwa hiyo app ikufanyie hiyo kazi. Sawa? So look for apps here. There are a lot of apps you can connect to. You can integrate. Sawa? And for this one, a bit more technical, there's something called MCP servers that you can even look for and you plug them in. Ukikuja hapa kwa plugins, you can plug them in. Cool? Cool? So, okay, there's a lot. 1 hour is not enough. 1 hour is not enough. So something else that Claude has, and even you can do this with ChatGPT, is something called skills. So, skills is a way that you've taught the AI to do certain things for you. Cool? So none of AI can do a lot of work for you. So this is how you do it. You can come and create a skill that can do certain things for you. And all of you by default, mkona hii ambayo inaitwa skill creator. So you can go to Claude and tell it, I want to create a skill that will be helping me in my university. And then you give it context of yourself. You're a university student studying this. And then you tell it, let's do it together. And if the time is not on our side. So nakuja hapo nasema, don't do something easy with a model that requires a lot of tokens. Remember, you have a budget, sindio? Utaki kutumia tokens zako zote. So, like a sonnet for 0.5, maybe unaweka medium ama high, right? So again, just depends on the complexity of the prompt. So it's going to ask you questions so that you can understand what you want the skill to do. So these skills are custom instructions. There's a guy over there, I've forgotten his name, yeah, who had custom instructions for ChatGPT. Sindio? Now, this is something you can do. Cool. Is that guy? Ilikuwa nani? It was you. Yeah? So you see here, you can come and create custom instructions for chat. So nakujapa, of course, it's going to take some time to think. Because what turn on? Thinking. Remember, kujapa kwa sonnet, turn on the thinking mode. So it's going to have to think before it gives us a response. So these are things that you need to start understanding as you're using AI. Have you turned on thinking? Have you turned it off? Have you used a deeper model? Have you used a slower model? So easy hapa inaweza kukuuliza maswali. Do you want to use it for reading, summarizing academic papers or theories? Unasema, I want to write essays, read, summarize, research and literature, exam revision and prep, right? You go to the next. Okay, what citation do you want to use? APA. Okay. When you get an output from this key, what format do you want to chat with a friend? Structured PDF, depends on the task. Ask me each time. Hivo, takuliza maswali zingine. How do you want to be responding? Nini. So each time, so it's going to create for you a skill or instructions that you can add onto your Claude. Sasa, cool? For real, mko sawa? Okay, so itakupa instructions that you copy paste into Claude. And that instructions itakuwa na a trigger. So each time you come and say, help me with my unit of this, itajua, oh wait, I'm supposed to turn it on. So it's just a simple automation, but it's a way of nini. Again, naona kuuliza maswali zingine, coursework, not sure, varies. So again, inakuja tu maswali, itakuuliza maswali ili elewe what exactly you want, to give instructions, kazi yako tu ni attach. So each time you come, it will be knowing you. You don't have to tell it anything. You don't have to tell it anything new, and everything will always be into your Claude without you having to do anything new. Again, ukikuja Claude, nilikuwa nishaonyesha on ChatGPT, but hapa kuna projects. So you can come and create a project. In fact, I have one to even help me lose weight. I have one called Road to 85 kgs. So nikikula kitu naiambianga, today I've eaten one banana. Okay, vile nimekuja Mombasa sasa nimekula chakula mingi sana, but leo nimekula one banana, how many calories is that? Leo nimekula hii, how many is that? But I have so many to help me code, to help me with my business, to help me with LinkedIn content, social media, so much more. So you can create yourself again unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 ili ukienda kuna specific unit you want to read for, you go there, ask questions about that unit. And the good thing about Claude, now some people who are saying Claude is better than ChatGPT, is because it has continuous memory or evolving memory. So each time, the more you use it, basically the better it gets and the better it knows you. Sasa. So kama hapa, for example, I don't know if I should come here to the road to 85 kgs. Let me look for social media. This one helps me come up with social media captions and stuff like that. So ukikuja, okay, let's say I've zoomed in too much, but ukikuja hapa kwa memory and click on this, you will see what it remembers about you. Even ChatGPT, but there's something it has added. It remembers more about you, but now it only remembers if you use it more. So come up and say, okay, this is minor, this is what they do, this is how they write, this is what they like, this is what they do. So the more you use it, it starts understanding you. So it starts learning from you, and that's why it's important for you to create that project so that you can start training the model on what you like as a student. Cool? Like a pool. So I don't know if there's anything else I should talk about. I think it might be a project. What I'll say, okay, come to detection. Just give me like a few minutes. Detection. So first of all, you shouldn't be scared of detection because first of all, you're supposed to be a student who likes learning. I wouldn't understand why you're in a university if you don't like learning. So let's start with that part of you need to enjoy your course. You need to enjoy your learning. So if you don't like your course, why are you forcing yourself to do the course? No. So first of all, you need to love school so that you don't have to look for shortcuts so that you malizaraka. But in case you want to use AI for writing, what I'll say is that it is not illegal for you to use AI for academic writing. What brings an issue is the fact that academia has to prove that you can think and reason. If you use AI to think and reason for you, it means that you've gone to school for nothing. Unaona? So you have to show a lecturer that you can think. So a lecturer has no issue with you using AI for writing, but you have to show your own thought in the writing. Sawa. You have to say, yes, ChatGPT gave me this output, but me mwenyewe I didn't like it because this is what I preferred. And that's where the 20-60-20 rule comes in. So you can't just tell ChatGPT to give you answers una copy paste. If you do that, you're gonna be penalized. Especially if you're writing a research paper, uta expelled from the university. The University of Nairobi kwanza inakuanga na very strict rules against plagiarism and against AI writing. Unaona? So unafaa kuwa the kind of student who is like, okay, AI inakupea kitu, don't take it face value. You have to go and double check. If a lecturer comes and asks you a question, kitu ilishafanyika once in a university, aliulizwa swali, alafu the guy couldn't answer completely, hakuweza kujibu kitu yoyote. Unaona? So that's where it becomes wrong. However, you need to remember that AI is not an author. It cannot think. So if you use it for your research or for your writing, oops, ushabant. Unaona? So never use ChatGPT for writing. Please, never use it for writing. If you are using it for your assignments, again, figure out a way to maneuver it. That's where creativity comes in and your own thought process comes in. No, I'm ChatGPT. This is my teacher's assignment, but I don't want it to be. I want you to ask me questions or help me figure out a way it can't be detected. So yes, the AI detectors that can't work 100%. However, the way they detect you've used AI is because of patterns of writing. So there's a specific way. Again, if you are to tell AI right now, kila mtu atapata the same exact response. And not the same exact, but the same exact format of writing. AI uses specific sentence structures, specific words, specific ways of putting out concepts. So if anybody here was to use ChatGPT for the same exact response, utapata tu similarities kila pahali. Unaona? So if you want to use AI for writing, yes, use it. For academia, use it. However, just realize that AI detectors exist. And the way they're going to figure it out is by your sentence structure. So ikikupea kitu, make some sentences shorter, longer, because AI inaandikanga very long sentences. So zikate. So I hope that's helped. Anybody else with a question, by the way? I know some people wanted me to talk about certain things. Question. All right. So again, remember, one thing I want you guys to come out is prompt engineering. Our thing is connect ChatGPT, Claude, Chrome, Claude, Gemini, whatever, to different applications. Yeah. Ukipewa assignment na mwalimu, unaiambia You have to make a presentation in MBA, go and make this presentation instead of Google Slides. Unaona? Go and make this document instead of Google Docs. So that you can do your assignment very fast. But usikue ule mtu you have to write everything by yourself mara ya kwanza. Sasa. So if there's no other question, I would just like to hear comments from the lady with the red hair. How has the session been, the second session? Yeah, the one who is you.
My name is Purity Kaluki, KT 545. A student.
Manimini.
Uh,
Comments about the session?
yeah, student at Mount Kenya University. Today's session was very informative and educative, and I feel like I've really learned a lot, especially about ChatGPT. And right now, I'm realizing that I've been using it all wrong, but I really appreciate all that you've taught us. Thank you.
Okay, what is the best thing you've learned so far about chat or any other models?
The four C's,
Okay.
because I have realized that I did not know how to put prompts when I'm requesting something from chat.
All right. So give the guy over there with the hair up to in front of the lady. Hafisa ama. Hapo you mse. So give us comments about the session. Anything new you've learned? Anything you wanted me to talk about but I've not talked about?
Actually, I've learned just that. It's just that most of
Endelea tu ama nitumie yangu.
okay, thank you. So my name is Griffin Gaira, KT526, and yeah, I've learned a lot today. It's just that I wanted to say that it's just that because most of the things that has been said actually earlier concerning the prompt, uh, I had like a bit of it, a glimpse of everything to do with prompt, but not as deeper as you've gone. And also I've learned the forces, the clarity, context, constraints, and customization, especially the customization part of it. Okay, it hasn't gone that deep, but because the slides are moving so quick, so so I didn't get that much. Yeah.
So for those who maybe hawakuelewa labda nienda mbio, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write a document or like notes. I don't know if anyone here likes reading notes, and then you check through the notes. Sasa, so nitaandika notes about how to prompt, which model to use, how do you pick a model, alafu nitumie Madam Beth, alafu atumia sawa. Okay, so if there's no one with questions, I think we can stop there. Thank you so much for the session.